In the aftermath of the now infamous Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, the far-left extremist group Antifa has been thrust back into the spotlight. Unfortunately for those of common sense, the mainstream media has found itself fawning over these brave, anti-fascist protesters. Prominent media figures are going as far as comparing the violent ideologues to World War II soldiers. To the mainstream media, Antifa is just a group who valiantly strives to fight against Nazis and stop the malicious dictator, Donald Trump, who dared to suggest that Antifa are as bad as the white supremacists they came to fight.
I think there's blame on both sides. What about the alt-left that came charging at the, as you say, the alt-right? Do they have any semblance of guilt? Let me ask you this. What about the fact they came charging with clubs in their hands, swinging clubs? Do they have any problem? I think they do.
Antifa and similar organizations may claim to, quote, bash the fash, but the actual reality is far uglier than the mainstream media is willing to admit.
May Day protests in downtown Portland turned violent when rioters smashed cop cars and damaged storefronts.
Fires burn in the streets as those rioters take buildings and shatter glass.
Take Taylor Lorenz and another unidentified photojournalist for CBS 6, both of whom were assaulted by Antifa members while covering Charlottesville. Or take this girl, pepper sprayed at Berkeley for daring to wear a Make America Great Again cap. Take Muhammad Ashraf, whose company, Nationwide Chauffeur Services, lost $70,000 when a limousine it owned was burned during riots on Inauguration Day. Or this elderly woman hit and pulled to the ground in Boston for holding an American flag, despite being for the same reason as Antifa. How could any group that is anti-fascism justify violence against journalists, supporters of mainstream politicians such as Donald Trump, the livelihoods of American citizens, or people simply waving American flags while protesting fascism? This is because Antifa are not simply anti-fascist, but rather are as much ideologues as the fascists that they fight against. Antifa members are subscribers to far-left ideologies, such as anarchism and communism, and believe that political violence is worthwhile in order to spread these ideologies and halt any that they disagree with. Their motive of punch a Nazi is so limited and open for interpretation that anybody slightly right of center could come under their broad Nazi definition. This is, of course, no defense of neo-Nazis, but why single out political violence from the far right and ignore that of the far left? Both are against the principles that have made the West great. Both are totalitarians, willing to stand upon corpses to create a utopia. And most importantly, both are worthy of condemnation. As David French recently wrote in the National Review, the primary tragedy of Charlottesville was the loss of a young woman's life. The second tragedy was the distortion of our political culture, and distorted we stand. However, since writing this article, there has been a fortunate update. According to Politico.com, Antifa has been formally classified a domestic terror organization by the Department of Homeland Security. How this affects Antifa's future remains to be seen.